I don't think, and I want to start here. We're back. I don't think the Yankees should get 3 wins. 4 wins? This is a 4-game series against the Twins?
Three.
3. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think you should get 3 wins for beating the Twins. You should have to sweep them to get 1 win. That feels fair because you're going to sweep them. From now until the day any of us talking or watching this dies, you're going to sweep the Twins. That's just how this goes.
Somebody posed what I thought was a better idea. They said they should just make this like a mini All-Star break and just give the Yankees the 3 wins to give everybody on both teams 3 days off and move on. I think that's a pretty fair idea. Everybody gets days off. Everybody wins except the Twins in the standings, and they weren't going to win anyway. So
no, they sure weren't. I don't even I think I'd be okay with the Yankees getting the 3 wins and the Twins get nothing. Like not even the 3 losses. Like they're just they play like a 154-game schedule. The rest of the league just continues with their business.
Listen, man. What's funny is I was so disconnected last year that I didn't realize the Yankees lost the season series to the Twins last year until somebody said it in my mentions. Yes, I was like, oh, really? You could have told me anything. The way the 2023 season went down, like you could tell me anything in retrospect, and I couldn't disprove it because I was so disconnected from the shit. Like, okay, somebody sprouted wings while they were on the field. Oh, great, I didn't see it. Couldn't tell you.
So this is the most recent stat I can see is from July 24th, 2019. The Yankees are 101-37 against the Twins since 2002, which I assume has just only gotten worse with last year being the gross outlier.
Very much so. I don't remember what exactly the record was, and I know the Yankees are 5-0 against them this year, so that obviously does not help the cause. All I know is I like when the Twins come to town. I really enjoy it. It's such a stress-free, carefree type of baseball. I was at the game Tuesday, and we'll get into Luis Gil later because, well, I talk about Luis Gil every goddamn week on the show now because, well, he's been that good. But I was there Tuesday, and the Yankees went up 3-0 in the third inning, and my brain shut the fuck off. Like the rest of the game, I'm just spending quality time with the people I was at the game with. It wasn't even about the game anymore. It's like, this is over. It's 3-0. Luis Gil on the mound against the Twins. This shit is cooked. Stick a fork in it. And, well, they lost. They won, rather, 5-1. So that's what it was.
It's, I don't, there's nothing in sports I can really point to compare to. Like, early Celtics-Lakers only in the finals, and I'm talking, Bill Russell days. I think the Celtics were 9-0 to start that rivalry, you know what I mean? Which was jarring, but I've just never seen
bro it. It's 22 years of this shit. 22. It doesn't matter who's on the teams, it doesn't matter who's managing the teams, it does not matter where they play, what climate, who the groundskeepers, and none of it matters. It all looks the same every year. The Twins come to town or the Yankees go over there, and the games look exactly the same. The Yankees go score a couple first inning runs, and it gets nasty from there. That's how every game goes. That's the tenor every single game goes by. And I thank them for it. I thank them for their existence. It's great.
So the Yankees, every day I look up, and they're just up against whoever they're playing. And the Red Sox fan in me is just like, okay, have they played like anybody? Because it's like, I am trying to take away from what they're doing, but is there any meat and backbone to that? You started the year with Houston. Obviously, Houston's been bad, but I don't count that as Houston came into the season with different expectations than this. So I don't even. And the Yankees tried to lose all 4 of those games. I remember it quite well. Yeah. So that was. I'm not going to say that didn't count. They played the Diamondbacks the second series of the season. They're fine. They're average. They played the Blue Jays after that. Blue Jays are terrible. Just absolutely terrible.
Oh, they're down. Marlins amusing to me, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, you can gloat and enjoy your Schadenfreude all you want, but objectively bad baseball.
Oh, you're not gonna have me say anything that disagrees with that or ask for any credit for the Yankees beating the fucking Blue Jays. Of course, never.
Marlins after that, they stink. Cleveland after that, Cleveland's been good, and that series I don't know if they haven't finished that series yet. One of those games got postponed. Toronto after that, they stink. You lost 2 out of 3. Tampa after that, Tampa's awful, despite what I thought they were going to do.
Awful?
Tampa's awful. Awful.
Oh, never mind. They have a minus 47 run
differential. Yeah, they're awful. They're terrible.
I saw the 5 in the regular. I'm like, they're a perfectly average team. That's what the run differential. Never mind. You win that one. Go ahead.
The A's after that. The A's have been very trick or treat this year. I can't call them awful. I won't call them good by any stretch, but they've had.
If you can call the Rays awful, you can call the Athletics awful. I understand the expectations are what they are with both teams. I get that, but they're both kind of in similar spots, except the Rays have a slightly better record.
Sure, they have the better record, but it's like I feel like they have individual players that are better. All right, fine. You don't get any credit for splitting with the A's.
Yeah, I'm not
2-2 against the A's. Tried to make that better.
No,
the Brewers have been good offensively, and they obviously have some pitchers. Took 2 out of 3 off them. The Blue Jays, who are both good and have underperformed based off expectations, dropped 3 out of 4 to them. Detroit stinks, swept them.
Wait. When did they drop 3 out of 4 to the Blue Jays? Do you mean the Orioles?
Oh, excuse me. I saw Bird. Yes, Orioles.
Yeah, got you.
Orioles. No, you dropped 2 out of 3 to Toronto. 3 out of 4 to the Orange Birds. Swept Detroit. I don't put any stock into that. 2 out of 3 off Houston by May. That is where I'm like, okay, that opening series, I'll give you credit for. This one, no. Tampa, 2 out of 3 again, unmoved. Those are home games in St. Pete. The Twins, the first series against the Twins, fucking sick, dude. And then you play the White Sox, genuinely trying to be the worst team in the history of baseball. Split with Seattle. We can do that. That doesn't fucking count. 2 out of 3 against San Diego. They fucking stink. The Angels, come on. The Giants are perfectly mid. No credit, no knock either. And then the Twins again, which brings me to my point. Yeah, you got the Dodgers coming up at home, and they've been a little cold lately, but the Dodgers are an objectively good team. If you sweep them, I'm not going to be like, oh, you swept a bat. No, that's not how that works. So that's good. And then 4 at Kansas City, 3 at Boston, Baltimore, Braves coming up after that. So you're going to start playing some real teams, it would appear. So I'm excited to see put the diamond tester to you guys.
First of all, the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to get swept up out of the South Bronx this weekend. I'd like to start with that.
Okay.
Second of all, as far as the schedule talk, you're not incorrect. I'm not here to. We went through it. You're not the Yankees have not played a whole bunch of good teams. I'm not going to argue with you. Only thing I will say is that's Major League Baseball.
Big time, especially this year too. No, especially this year.
Not a lot of good teams in Major League Baseball to be out here playing. So I get the point. And you can't really tell a whole lot based off of most of the teams the Yankees have beat. You want to take something out of them being the Brewers 2 out of 3? Great. I'm not going to argue. Cool.
Sure.
Basically, the Yankees are beating these teams to a pulp. That is kind of where it's like, all right, I could glean something from that. If they were just getting by off the skin of their teeth, it would be like, all right, well, this looks a little bit fraudulent. They're treating bums like bums, which I, for one, very much appreciate. So, yeah, and the schedule toughens up a little bit here upcoming, even though, the Braves, they're good. They don't concern me, especially after losing, a Cy Young frontrunner and the MVP from last year within a month. They don't scare me that much. The Dodgers already proclaimed how I feel about that series. Them boys going to get swept out of here. Excuse me?
Why?
I'm just talking shit.
Well, I didn't know if you had any actual analysis.
No, I don't think. Listen, realistically, I think the Yankees are going to win 2 out of 3 of that series. Which one the Dodgers get, I don't fucking know. But I think they win 2 out of 3. It wouldn't shock me if they get swept. The only analysis I do have is that their three best hitters seem to all be in a collective funk at the same time, which is not great when you're running into a buzzsaw. So that's the only analysis I really have. But and also like I read a stat like they haven't scored a run in like Tyler Glass. That's like last 6 starts. I can't remember what exactly that was. Like while he's been in the game rather, but it's like 6 starts going back.
They've been very hot and cold offensively. Obviously, Ohtani took Skeens deep yesterday after getting K'd by him quite quickly his first go around. But you guys are starting. Looks like Hank Poteet versus
Cody Poteet. Yes.
Who the fuck is that? That's not a person.
Cody Poteet. He's not a person. He's their depth starter, I guess, because they lost Clark Schmidt, unfortunately. So that's the replacement until Garrett Cole comes back in a few weeks.
Yeah, this is for sure not a person.
Hey man, when he puts up six innings, 2 earned against the Dodgers, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you go.
I think he is right.
Who?
Poteet. He's pitching against who? He's pitching today or
Yamamoto?
Well, tricky matchup there.
Yeah, and then you got fucking Nestor Cortez versus Gavin Stone, and then Luis Gil versus Tyler Glasnow, which it is Sunday Night Baseball. All 3 national games: Apple TV, Fox, ESPN. I don't know. I don't know that sweep is on the table.
Of course it's on the table. Of course it's on the table. It's just not the likeliest outcome here.
You have the advantage in the pitching matchup in one of these 3 games, and I don't know that it's a massive advantage in that game.
I'd argue you have the pitching advantage in 2 of the games.
You think Nestor is better than Stone?
Yes. Am I supposed to believe otherwise?
I would say so. Yeah, Gavin Stone sitting 6-2, 2.9 ERA.
Wait. Who has a 2.9 ERA?
Gavin Stone.
I rescind my statement. Sorry, I wasn't aware. I was not aware he was doing all of that. Like
I'm not just here to shit on the like I am, but I'm not
aware he was doing
here to lie.
I remember his go around last year. He was awful, and I remember like his first start this year was awful. I stopped paying attention to Gavin Stone. So I was not aware he had a fucking 2.9 ERA. Excuse me. My apologies. So yes, so you want to give him the advantage 2 out of 3 games to be my guest. So
I wasn't just saying things to say them. And I'm giving you the Poteet game because clearly he's got the goods.
So all right, Heel, we got that one in our back pocket. Yes. For sure.
Yeah, but even like Glasnow's sitting here, he's 6-4. I don't know if the 4 necessarily his fault. He's sitting here with a 2.9.
It's definitely not his fault. We can say that. Definitely.
And a clean 104 Ks.
How many innings have you thrown?
It's 80.
104 Ks, 80.
Yeah, he's just cruising.
But yes.
So
yes.
Yeah. Go to underdog.
It's a slight advantage. Like Heel is better or has been better this year, but obviously those are both excellent starting pitchers. For sure.
Right. Yeah, that's Sunday Night Baseball. That's also Celtics Mavs game 2. I would go to underdog personally. I would go higher on some Ks for each of those gentlemen, and I would go higher on some points for Jaylen Brown in game 2. That's me talking about a game 4 fucking days from now because the NBA is insane play. I guess it's 3 days from now.
Why do they have fucking 2 days off between game 1 and game 2? You know what? I'm not gonna go.
They like the Sunday night game. The NBA for the finals loves playing on a Sunday night,
and they don't. And they're not big fans of Friday night games, are they?
I'm gonna say no because I think they play Saturday next week.
Yeah, they don't like Friday night games. So,
I think they do play on a Friday at one point. These finals, but I
think it's impossible to avoid if you're gonna. I think it's impossible to avoid, but yeah, either way,
one game at a time. You got Kansas City coming up after that. Who Kansas City's been solid. They've got Marshawn Lynch the 4th pitching in one of these games. Daniel Lynch the 4th, another non-person.
Hey, he used to be a really good prospect. I don't know what he's done anytime like the last 3 years, but I knew of his name 4 or 5 years ago. Yes.
He started exactly one game, and it was within the last 7 days. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, both home runs, 2 Ks. So yeah, that's what he's been on this year. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, no, that was correct. So you got him going up against Hank Poteet. Somehow that's the highest ticket
I really
price.
appreciate that you're just not going to call it man by his actual first name. That's very.
There's
funny.
I know too many names from my decades of watching sports. I don't need to know another Poteet. If he wants to dethrone Hank Poteet, I'll delete his name and I'll learn his. But until that point, I'm all set.
There's no room for 2 Poteets.
No, there isn't.
All right.
Like we got Rodon Lugo in that series. Rodon's been good lately. Yes, am I making that up?
He's been good in a way that feels kind of unsustainable, but like you just count your blessings and move on because like they're making actual really good contact against him, but he's getting results. So, hey man, here's what it is. Not going to sit here and complain until there's actual reason to complain results wise.
So last game was against the Twins, and immediately, not just because it's Rodon, I'm just throwing that out. That doesn't count. The Angels were before that. Congrats. He wasn't particularly stellar in that game. 3 earned runs over 6. It's fine. It'll get you a win for the Yankees, especially against this team, but congrats. Mm-hmm. The Padres before that, he shut out the Padres, so I can't say anything about that. Had more walks than strikeouts in that game, so he still found a way to fuck up in his own way. And then he played the White Sox and Twins before that. So, yeah, I can't, again, this is not – and he's giving up hard hits against these bums? All right, yeah, these numbers. He's got a 3.08 ERA. His real ERA, just doing some quick math, like a 5.2.
What's funny is that you're spitballing, but like his actual xFIP is like 4.6, if I'm not mistaken. So you're not even that far off. Like you're not that far off, but like he's getting results. That's all I really have to say about Carlos Rodon. He's getting results, so I hope that continues.
Again, tickets, ESPN, they do like the date, the team you're playing, the time the game starts, both projected starting pitchers, and then ticket prices. I've never really understood why ticket prices are here. I don't know how many people have ever bought tickets this way. It has to be like 1% of all tickets bought, or this, maybe less. Poteet Lynch is the most expensive game for this Kansas City series. I don't know why.
What day is that on?
A Wednesday. That's why it's not even like a great day. So that's where it's just like, is that like the last day of school?
Is that I can't understand what the logic behind that one is. That's weird.
We got $8, we got $8, we got $10, we got $7 for Nestor Cortez versus Alec Marsh. So
Alec Marsh. They better tattoo Alec Marsh, man.
Yeah, outside of Lugo, that's like maybe the second best pitcher. He's not been great this year. He's had some runs where he's been solid, but yeah, I imagine that could be a high-scoring affair, especially it's a 2-10 game getaway day. I imagine the Yankees would probably sit a lot of their regulars because they're coming to Boston finally next Friday.
We took it to fucking June. Yeah,
June 14th.
Finally, game. The Yankees and Red Sox play against each other. Man, this whole unbalanced schedule thing is, it's one of the things that makes me do the whole get off my lawn. Like one of the very few things. Like, but like, why? And it's not Yankees Sox. Not even the only matchup, the only divisional matchup like that. There are other ones. I don't know them because I don't follow those teams like that. But there was one I saw the other day. I can't remember which one, but it's like the first time they meet is in like July. What are we doing here? What are we doing? At least with the Yankees and Sox, the Sox are not catching them. So, but like at least you could have baked in some games early where there was still some delusion or some hope for the Red Sox at that point.
It's not even about catching the Yankees. Obviously, that's not a realistic goal for the Red Sox, and shouldn't really be the goal. The Red Sox, Jim Bowden put out his like trade deadline preview the other day, and within the preview, he ranked all 30 teams, and he had the Red Sox 10th. Like he had the Yankees first, which is I'm not going to argue that. Phillies, I believe, were 2, which also makes sense. But he had the Red Sox 10. And I immediately read that and texted Jared. I was like, we're the 10th best team in the league, because obviously he watches every game anyone's ever played because he's got an illness in his brain. And he was like, that feels insanely wrong. And it's like, yeah, we get so sucked into the Red Sox, you don't step back and see the forest from the trees. When you look at the rest of the league, yeah, you could actually make a decent case. The Red Sox are the 10th best team in baseball, which is more of a shot at the MLB than it is in anything. You've seen a lot of these fucking owners, and we talk about it in the offseason, they don't invest in their own team. The Red Sox have been every day we've got a new fucking guy going on the IL, and it just doesn't seem to matter. We're going to play 500 ball the entire season. They are the 500 Sox. That might be a playoff spot this year with how bad and mediocre the rest of the league is. They might be in the playoffs with like a dog shit kind of team just because the rest of the league's so much worse. Yeah, they may be looking at a playoff spot at 81-81.
I forget who on Section 10 said it, but they said this version of the Red Sox could find a way to split a 3-game series.
Steve gave me credit for saying that, and I don't remember saying it. I usually take an edible before that show, so it may have been me, but he gave me credit, so I'll take the credit still, but I don't think it was me. But yeah, that's just what they do.
Yes.
They go out, they win 1.5 out of 3. Like, we're playing the White Sox this weekend. We got 4 with the White Sox. The White Sox are on a 13-game losing streak. We're going to Crochet is probably going to deal against us. Jared has him throwing a no-hitter with 17 strikeouts against us. I believe it. Like, I very much believe it. So yeah, it's the reason I like the unbalanced schedule playing the Yankees, like, you just got to see them throughout the season in a way where baseball teams do change throughout a season, not even necessarily injuries, but it's like, hey, this pitcher we thought was going to be really good actually fucking sucks. Or this guy we had no expectations for is really good. Oh, trades happen, trade deadline. So you get to see him before and after. And it's just a good test throughout. Like 21, when both teams ended up playing in that 1-game playoff, correct me if I'm wrong, the Red Sox were like beating the dog shit out of the Yankees early in the season. And then late in the season, the Yankees were Stanton just kept hitting a home run every fucking at bat. Yeah. I think that season series, because it was still unbalanced. I think it was last year.
It was like 10-9, or I believe.
I think it was 10-9. Yeah, but I think we won those 10 like by June 1st.
Oh yeah, there was a period where the Yankees got swept by the Red Sox 2 straight series or something like that, and then they couldn't touch them. And then the end of the season came around, and Giancarlo was like, "Okay, I've had enough," and started just going deep every time he came to the plate, basically.
Yeah, like if that game had been in Yankee Stadium, which it should have been if the Yankees didn't collapse that last series of the season, not even against us, just in general. If that game had been in Yankee Stadium, I don't think the Red Sox win that game.
I agree, and it still bothers me that game was in Fenway, because I think the Yankees finished like 2 games behind y'all, if I'm not mistaken. I think
it ended up not being close. Like, it was, you guys had the lead going into that last series, and I think you dropped all 3, and we were playing like the Nationals or some shit like that.
No, the Yankees had to win the last game to get in, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so
I don't remember how exactly it went, but I know they didn't finish that far behind the Sox.
No, I think it was a game. I don't think it was 2. I think it was 1 game.
Yeah, and that annoyed me because you just don't have to go. You just don't want to go to Fenway Park if you don't have to. Like, respectfully. Like, and then Giancarlo launched like 8 balls off the wall in that game too, no less.
Oh, he had the walk-off single in the first inning. Yeah.
Leave John alone, man. He's enjoying retirement. Leave John alone.
Well, it's not even Sterling. I was watching that game. I was obviously still at Barstool. We were doing a live stream for that game, and I was watching it with Yankee fans, and they jumped out of their seats like a ball had never been hit farther. And because we were just like abused from watching him do this the whole previous month, I was like, that's not what I would have rather walked him. I think there was only 1 guy on. I think it was just Judge on it first. And I was like, this is for sure gone. And when it hit the wall, I was like, did that hit like the tower so high it just bounced back? Is that what happened? When Stanton stayed at first, it was just like, it was one of the hardest I've ever laughed at a baseball game because it was the Yankees and it was just generally funny. But watching Yankee fans, Sterling almost gets too much shit for that. Obviously, his call was very funny because he like blamed himself for it not going out.
Oh, the call was hilarious. But like there wasn't a single person watching that who didn't think that shit was going to leave the park. Especially if you root for either of the teams involved. Like you thought, like just shit, not even based on the actual at bat. Just we saw the last 2 series of Stanton destroying everything in sight against Boston. So he was like, oh, well, he did it again. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, great, he did it again. Fantastic.
It was at the Wooded Dong account. I'm sure in other parks it was gone because other parks don't have a 37.5-foot fucking wall there. Like it's not like it was some high looper that like lost steam. Like no, it kind of drilled the wall.
Hey man, there's nothing more sobering than they're watching somebody clock a baseball in Fenway and then realize it, and then watching yourself think home run and then it becomes a single. There's nothing more sobering than that shit. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean for sure. Especially when someone like laces one, like Devers, he hit 2 home runs this past these past couple of days. That one of them for sure was not a home run anywhere else. Like it was a low and inside pitch that he somehow pushed over the monster. I was like, what?
That one gave me such a bad case of PTSD, by the way. Because like I've seen him do it to the Yankees a million times, especially Garrett Cole. I've seen him do it to them a million times. So I saw that pitch and I saw your tweet about Devers makes way more sense if you contextualize him as left-handed Vlad Sr. Like, yeah, and I saw that pitch. I was like, how the fuck did he take that and go the opposite way with it? What are we doing?
It's like it's like watching like a professional pool player. Like there's no other excuse for not pulling that ball. And then Tyler last night on Section 10 said he's only pulled 1 home run this year, which is insane. He's got 13. And now he's hit some to dead center, obviously, but not pulling home runs.
That feels impossible, but I guess it's factual, so whatever, but that feels impossible.
Yeah. But Devers has been amazing. I think what's his numbers?
You one of the hottest hitters on earth right now, right?
He is, yeah. And I mean, he'd be like the 3rd best. I do not want Rafael Betancourt, baseball reference. Yeah, 956 OPS, 164 OPS plus. That's probably like the 3rd highest on the Yankees behind Soto and Judge, but I'm happy with it. You know what I mean? I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with this kind of production. Out of a guy who like got off to a quote unquote slow start and people start bringing up the contract and shit. And just like, especially with where the Red Sox are right now, this is not the contract to be complaining about. The lack of other contracts are the ones to be complaining about. Story's contract is one to be complaining about. Rafael, and I don't even care about Story's contract because that doesn't bother me. But if you're going to start talking about guys not earning their money, it doesn't begin or end. Like Rafael Devers isn't in that conversation at all.
I'm so fucking tired of Rafael Devers' existence, man. Like every time he hits one of them home runs, I'm just like, oh God, again, bro. Like he can't stop doing this. Why can't he stop doing this? But yeah, a guy gets off to a slow start, a guy with an established track record, and everybody loses their fucking minds. And it happens every year. And it's like, guys, do you not understand baseball? Y'all sit there, y'all watch every single fucking game of every year for 6-7 months, bro. That first of all, it's damn near a sickness if we're gonna be honest about it with ourselves.
Sure.
But like Rafael Devers, he's been doing this for 5 years. Like he's been playing at a high level, hitting at a high level for 5 years.
Yeah, 19. It's 19. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't not hitting at a high level. I mean, I'm looking at his OPS plus for 2018. It does say 94, which feels incorrect, but that was his first.
And also, like his rookie season. Didn't he play like 50 games, or am I making that up?
No, he played 121. 17, he played 50 games. That was like his call up. And 18, but even 18, he was platooning. He wasn't finishing games. Like, I'd love to know how many games he finished out of the 121 he played. Because he was getting pulled, obviously, in the playoffs. We were starting. Blanking. Who's the fucking guy who hit the home run? God damn. Am I blanking on his name?
What year are we talking
about? I know it's. Huh?
What year are we talking about?
2018.
2018. Yeah. I know the name is gonna hit me.
Eduardo Nunez.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, yeah,
they have him.
Oh God, Eduardo Nunez. Oh God.
They have him listed as a second baseman on this team, which just was not the case.
Bro, Eduardo Nunez is that's such a sore spot for me because of the whole Cliff Lee fiasco. I don't know if you remember that at all, where they agreed to a trade. One part of the trade from the Yankee side failed the physical. And then I think it was Seattle, right? Yeah, it was Seattle. Seattle's like, hey, man, just give us Eduardo Nunez and we could call this a day. And the Yankees are like, no. And it's like, first of all, if you looked at Eduardo Nunez play defense, it was clear he wasn't particularly good at it.
It was an adventure.
For two, the Yankees quite literally had one of the best infields ever constructed. They had A-Rod, they had Jeter, they had Cano, they had Teixeira. I don't understand why, when you could have paired CeCe Sabathia and Cliff Lee and kept him away from a competitor, which he ended up going to, and then he ended up dropping his dick all over the Yankees' forehead region in the fucking ALCS. You could have done both of those things, and all you had to do was say, here, take Eduardo Nunez. And they were like, no, we can't do that. And then Eduardo Nunez ended up making a nice career for himself, not to shit on the player too much. He did. For
sure.
But I just don't, I will never, till the day I die, I'll never understand why they just didn't say, here, take him. When your infield was looking like that.
I do think there's a bit of Chris Paul to the Lakers with Cliff Lee and the Yankees that I don't like. Great player, obviously. I don't think it would have worked, even though he went on to be like really good in Texas and all that. Mm-hmm. He and his family specifically hated New York so much. I don't know that it would have been like, obviously the player, if you could remove everything, the player with CeCe, yeah, that's devastating at the top of the lineup. In the real world, I just don't know if it clicks. This is a guy I remember in Cleveland, like in the middle of like stacking Cy Youngs, was sent down to single A. You know what I mean? Like that was a part of why he was so captivating, was because he had like struggles to that extent, and obviously some injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, one of the stranger career paths I can remember, Cliff Lee.
And homeboy was absolutely terrifying for like a 4-year stretch.
Especially in October.
He was terrible. And like I don't know if anybody got it quite as bad as the Yankees did from him, but like when they scored a run off him, it was a celebration, bro. It was like, oh my God, they scored. It was wild, bro.
But yeah, Devers, since the start of 2019, 358 extra base hits. Nobody in baseball has more. Ohtani's played in that stretch. He's got 318. Freeman's got 353, or 355, excuse me. Marcus Semion's got 345. Matt Olson, 341. Jose Ramirez, 339. Pete Alonso, 339. And those are like all home runs. So yeah, this is Soto, 302. Judge, 305. Like that, Rafael Devers is as good of a power hitter that exists in the world today. And anyone who wants to talk about his contract, this, that, and the third, like, you're an asshole. It's that simple. You're just an asshole.
And God forbid he starts the season and goes 3 for 25, and then we got to pretend like the last 5 years just didn't happen, and like he hasn't earned the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay,
yeah, it's mind numbing to me, but he's on pace to be another like 33, 110. His doubles are only going to be in the 30s, which is a little shocking for him. But he's got 2 triples this year. He hasn't had multiple triples in the season since 2019. So he's like, I'll just take that extra base. I don't need the double. So yeah, I'm perfectly thrilled with my 2 WAR second baseman or third baseman with all that WAR coming. He's probably like a 2.5 WAR guy if he's just DHing right now. He's got to be negative WAR.
His defense is that bad?
I just can't imagine it's positive. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's got negative.
I know he's not bringing you shit on the bases. So like, his defense is that bad? Jeez,
I fucking nailed it. His offensive WAR is 2.5. His defensive WAR is -0.4.
Okay, yeah, that's not fair.
So he's like basically at like, it's not a full point. Obviously, it's closer to 0 than it is -1. But yeah, that's making him a just 2 WAR player. when if he was just DHing, he'd be a 2.5 win player.
Also, to double back, we mentioned earlier about the Dodgers and their recent lineup struggles. Quiet is kept, and I get it's easy to overlook because the top of the lineup is absurd. Understood. Their 6-9 really stinks.
Bad.
Like their 6-9 is awful. Like their first 5, hey man, as good as anybody's in the sport, not going to get an argument from me in the world. All right, understood. 6-9 is like they don't hit. So if 1 through 5, and right now they're Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie are kind of going through it. If they're not on, if they're not on, them they're going to struggle because 6-9 is not carrying any fucking weight. They're just not.
No, we've got James Outman, who I feel like Dodgers fans, like actual Dodgers
down, or they
fans.
brought him back? Did they run him back up?
He's in the minors right now,
Yeah,
but he's played their most games in center this year, I believe.
Yep.
He hit a crisp 147 this year thus far. Andy Pages, who I believe they called up to replace him, he's hitting 263. It's not terrible. You know, it's way better than. Yeah, much better. Like Jurassic improvement. Gavin Lux, who I feel like we've been waiting for years. He's hitting 211.
Yep.
Hitting 211.
Chris Taylor is hitting 098.
Yeah, and I mean Chris Taylor, that's kind of what happens. Like Chris Taylor's 1,000 years old, you know what I mean? Like he's only 33, but he has like the body and the play style of
he's been out here for a long time.
Yeah, like Monsi's on the IL. He's got 9 home runs, which is fine. He's got 800 OPS. You'll take that from him at this stage of his career because he's older too, same age as Chris Taylor. But yeah, Lux, Miguel Rojas has never been, a guy known to swing it. He's holding a 750 OPS. You'll take that, but that's not lighting the world on fire. It's like Teoscar was not like a luxury signing. They needed Teoscar, and even he's looking at a 767 OPS, so not exactly the guy they were hoping for. Hayward, God love him.
I will say, sorry to cut you off, but I will say like a 767 OPS in this environment is a little bit different than it was last year because hitting league wide is down, like terrible.
It's worse than I think it was only who was putting the numbers out. Maybe it was Rosenthal. One of the old baseball whites was saying the numbers this year are worse than the first year post steroids. Like that first year when they like really started testing and getting it out, the numbers this year are much worse. Runs per game are down, OPS is down, like league wide.
Like there was a tweet from, I guess I didn't write down who. I think High Heat Stats is that. I can't remember. Anyways, 2024 as of now is on track for the fewest batter Ks since 2017. Fewest home runs since 2015, the fewest earned runs since 2014, the fewest wild pitches since 2012, the lowest BABIP since 1992, the fewest doubles since 1992, the fastest game since 1981, the lowest whip since 1972, and the lowest batting average since 1958. So that speaks to what we're talking about with regard to offensive environment, and also like I am quite sick of talking every year about baseballs and what they do with them or don't do. We don't do this in any other fucking sport where it's like, oh, well, what balls are they going to use this year? Like, bro, can y'all pick a lane and just go every year? And quite frankly, just juice the baseballs. 2019 with the rabbit ball was hilariously fun. You had dudes like getting shit off the end of the bat and it's going 410 feet. That shit was fire. Go back to that. Or at least if you want to deaden the balls, just do it every year. Every year, April's like, I wonder what balls they use. May, it's like, okay, well, we have this kind of data. This is wildly different than the last 4 years. I wonder what balls they're using. It's absurd. True.
It's not even season to season. Like there are pitchers, and it's a story the MLB suppresses. Like anytime a pitcher talks about it, you can tell there's this kind of, let's not like make this a bigger story because baseball's biggest enemy has always been baseball. You know what I mean? Like the Mitchell report they didn't even need to do that. Like, no one was asking for that. Everyone loved what was happening. And then they made it out to be like the fucking cartel. But like, there are pitchers who are like, yeah, ball to ball, because they're going through dozens a game. You know what I mean? Someone gets fouled off. Once it gets put in play, they throw it. Someone gets their first hit, home run, shit like that. They're going through dozens, if not hundreds of balls per game. And they're like, yeah, this one feels wildly different than the last one they just gave me, because they're mudding it in the offseason and shit. I can't remember if it's Japan or Korea. They do it so differently, but it's so consistent ball to ball. And God forbid the MLB adapts that fucking strategy. It's insane to me.
Bro, there's literal numbers like, hey, man, you know, this you know, when you hit the sweet spot at this, you know, this part of the bat and it goes this miles an hour off the bat, like how many of these are home runs? And there's been, I can't remember the exact number, but there were a good like 15 baseballs that would have left the park last year that have been warning track flyouts. And I'm just like, what are we doing here, bro? Like, can y'all pick a lane and go and just deal with the same baseballs every year? Like, you don't have a routine by now? We do this we have to worry about, and the pitchers themselves, you brought that up, good point. And the pitchers themselves got to worry about that shit pitch to pitch, basically.
Right.
And we're just talking about this from a fan perspective, an outsider perspective. Like, all right, the home runs, like this, that, and the third, whatever. The pitcher, the FIP, blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, all right, this baseball is not the same as the previous three. What the fuck is happening? That's wild. That's absurd.
Oh, yeah. I feel like if you're gonna bring back juiced balls, I'm not necessarily against that, but I would like the pitchers to be able to use whatever the fuck they want to grip it. Like, you can't.
I don't think they should have took that shot in the first place. Personally, let me walk that back a little bit. If you were going to, I think you should have had a better plan in place.
Sure.
Because they just decided in like June, like, we're gonna put a stop to this. Okay, what's the plan? Because I can't just throw the baseball with nothing, bro. What's the plan? Don't look at us. Figure it out. What? And then we're doing this in the middle of the year, bro? Like, not in the off season. No, we're doing this in the middle of the season. That's crazy.
No, and Glass now pretty much blames his last big injury on that.
Right.
He was like, I wasn't a spider attack guy. I used sunscreen and rosin, that mix, just so I can grip it. And when they took that away, I had to hold the ball differently, and that blew something out my elbow because I was over flexing it. And the MLB was just like, yeah, and you're going to keep doing that, pal. Like, we're not changing anything. And it's just so fucking stupid to me. It's like even the batters are like, yeah, I'd rather the pitcher have control of the ball rather than like get drilled in the head.
It's dangerous, right? It's dangerous too, on top of everything else here. Yes.
Yeah, baseball will forever be its own largest enemy when it comes to just common sense. Just it doesn't seem as hard as they want to make it, but yeah, they're making it as hard as possible. And we'll definitely talk about it more next week. But Luis Gil versus Brian Bayo, I'm excited for that. I know Red Sox fans aren't as excited about Bayo as they were when he signed his extension and all that. He's been good. Like, has he been the best pitcher in the league? No. Has he been an ace? No. Did I ask for 2 starting pitchers to go ahead of him so he could be the number 3 this year? Yes. Did they do that? No. Did Tanner Houck become one of those guys by accident? Yes. Was Tanner Houck supposed to be a starter when they went out and signed Lucas Giolito? No. So it's just like, yeah, it's hard for me to shit on Bayo. He's been mostly okay. It hasn't been great by any stretch. I'm not going to lie. They got Cutter Crawford. Again, this is next Saturday, so a lot could happen between now and then. Cutter Crawford versus Carlos Rodon. That's higher on every batter in that game. The Red Sox are going to tee off. The Yankees are going to tee off. And then
Devers is homering. Just set that in stone. If you don't listen to anything else I say on this show, please bet Rafael Devers homering next Saturday. Please, just do it.
And Stroman Pivetta on Sunday Night Baseball. So you guys got back-to-back Sunday Night Baseball games these next 2 weeks. You've also got the Friday night games on ESPN Plus, so it's not the Apple TV game, which they had us playing the strangest Apple TV games. You think they would have wanted this one instead? No. And it's Saturday. It's a night game on Fox. So 2 national games for Red Sox Yankees, which feels accurate. The Yankees should take 2 out of 3 there, minimum.
Agreed.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Sweep them boys up out of Fenway.
No, I mean, we're probably not going to lose to Rodon.
I think you will. I think the Sunday night game is the one the Red Sox get, personally.
I don't know. Pavetta's been hot lately, and I almost feel more comfortable with Pavetta when he's been struggling. Like his last 2 starts have been good. Mostly good.
I feel a Pavetta 6-inning no earned 11K special coming right up. That's what I feel. So I think that's
what I mean. He just did that. That's why I don't think it's in the car.
Yeah, fair. It's true. But I think he'll do it again.
I actually have the most confidence in the Bayo game. Now, what's weird about the Red Sox is I believe they're 9-1 on Sundays at Fenway, or just in general, they're 9-1 on Sundays. They're 1-9 on series openers in Fenway. So it's that perfect 500 balance right there.
The Red Sox, maybe 500 by hook or by crook.
Man,
500.
Bayo, was it last year? It had to have been last year. But Bayo going into Yankee Stadium and then into Houston in consecutive starts in games that they needed to win at that point of the season. And just absolutely shoved. I believe he went 7 in both. It was electric in both. I view him as a big game pitcher. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities. The opportunities he has had, he's shined in them. This is going to be the biggest game he's had so far this year. It's against one of the AL Cy Young frontrunners right now, a guy who could start the All-Star game. That's the game. If they're going to win a game, it's going to be that one. Cutter Crawford versus, like, Juan Soto might homer 3 times off Cutter Crawford.
So some Luis Gil fun facts. Luis Gil is first in the American League in ERA, 1.82, average against 128, and slugging percentage against 219. From the great Katie Sharp, pitchers with a sub .65 ERA, 50-plus Ks, and 15 or fewer hits allowed in any 7-game span since 1913. Jacob deGrom, 2021, Luis Gil, 2024. Luis Gil is averaging 3.8 hits against per 9. Second place is Bryce Miller at 6.241. And finally, his last 7 games started, 44 innings pitched, 0.6 ERA, 0.67 whip, 9.3 walk percentage, 30.9 K percentage, and a 0.98 batting average against.
That's a guy that feels like Devers gets.
Probably. But back to Gil. I said something during the game because I mentioned earlier how the Yankees went 3-0, and I just started talking about everything else but the game, basically. So I said to my friend I was with, I said, Luis Gil's currently on the best pitching stretch I've ever seen from a Yankee pitcher not named Garrett Cole. And I'd like to edit that statement. Luis Gil just on the best pitching run I've ever seen from a Yankee pitcher.
Yeah, that was an insane knock on Luis Gil.
Yeah, no, right. All right.
It's just been objectively, but you just read the stats. Cole's never done those things.
I agree. We don't need to dunk on Garrett Cole anymore. Like,
I wasn't.
It's insulting to Luis. Relax. Just relax. A smidge.
You've seen Clemens. You've seen Mussina. You've seen Pettit. You've seen Sabathia.
Yeah, and this stretch has been better than all of them. Like, he has been unbelievable.
Am I forgetting someone?
No, I don't think so. Mussina, Pettit, we want to go down El Duque. Not really.
Yeah, El Duque deserves. No, I mean, he had his stretches. You know what I mean? We're only talking stretches. We're not talking full seasons. El Duque definitely had stretches.
He was a wonderful postseason pitcher. So that
right,
obviously. Luis Severino had some really good stretches for the Yankees, albeit
he did. But
ended how it ended.
Was fake. I never bought it.
I was the opposite, and it hurt in the end. It hurt because he had 2 really good years, and then he just fell off. You said what?
He was your Clay Buchholz. It's the same picture.
Not incorrect. I'll leave it at
And
that.
right, like I'm not
Not incorrect. I'll leave it at that.
both of them tremendously talented. Both of them
Had good stretches, and then both of them just fell apart at the end and then got shipped out.
Trying to see, for their careers, obviously Buchholz played more games. Both 2-time All-Stars. Luis Severino, better strikeout guy. ERA plus, both about 110. Yeah, they're just looking at their numbers. They're pretty much the same guy.
That still saddens me. But Severino is no longer my concern.
Is there a chance?
Go ahead.
Is there a chance the Yankees try and trade for him back?
No,
he's been good this year.
No, that marriage is done. Like once the Yankees didn't even offer him shit in free agency, it was done. I don't think they're bringing him back because I don't think that was them not even making an offer to him. I don't think that was just a baseball decision.
Sure,
like, I think there's stuff behind the scenes that we are not that privy to. Excuse me, that they're just like, nah, this marriage is just it gotta end. So no, I don't think they will do that. But speaking of the Mets, if you're going to acquire somebody off the Mets, it should be Pete Alonso. Speaking from the Yankees' perspective, now, I'm just making a suggestion. I understand there's no fucking way in hell the Mets will trade Pete Alonso to the Yankees. I understand this. There's no chance in hell that they're trading a homegrown star to the Yankees in the midst of a potential World Series winning season. No chance. Zero. So what if they should pick up the phone and at least call them, because Anthony Rizzo looks beyond cooked. So they need to figure something out there.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about the Dodgers before. I don't know if the Yankees lineup's that far off. Obviously, the Yankees top guys have been carrying the fuck out of them, but
the Yankees bottom of the lineup has been fine. Now, how real do you think it is? Well, you know what? Caveat. Gleyber Torres has been really good the last month, and he's batting seventh. I'm talking about like normal Gleyber Torres, not the bullshit that was in April. So the bottom of the lineup for them is fine, but like, do I think Jose Trevino is going to keep carrying a 120 WRC? No. Gleyber Torres should be fine. Verdugo, I think that is going to regress at some point, even though he's technically batting cleanup for them, so there's that. But Rizzo's been,
and awful. Even that. Verdugo's at a 108 OPS plus. You know what I mean? It's not like he's slightly above average, which is kind of his
I didn't realize it had come down that far. I know he was at like 120.
He was way up there for a while.
Yeah, so like, all right,
this is kind of what he does.
Like that's him. Like that's that's in the range of what he does.
Career 106 OPS plus guy. Like he's right there.
Right, LeMayu's bad. Trevino, I don't expect this to continue. Rizzo's bad. I mean, you know what? You're not wrong. Like the bottom line is kind of similar. You're not wrong.
It is. It's just like Judge has been melting everyone's face every time he gets up. Soto's right fucking behind him. You're talking about guys with 1090 and 1027 OPSs, and then Stanton. Like obviously the average is 237. No one gives a fuck because he's got 15 home runs. You know what I mean? Like if that's all he's gonna do is just hit a home run every other game, I think people are okay with that
at this point.
Which is fine. Like it wasn't fine when Soto wasn't there. Then it was just like, all right, we need more. We can't just have this guy. Like that's not how this goes. And Volpe's in here at 127 OPS plus.
He's been quite good.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on base, like 25 straight games, 26 straight games, 30. Something like that. 30. I thought Judge was at 30.
They're both at the same. Whatever it is, it's like 31 and 31 and 33, something like that. Yep.
Yeah. And so it's like, right now, Gleyber and Rizzo are both sitting with 85 OPS pluses, and I expect one of those to go down and one of them to go up.
Same. And
Trent Grisham's got a 1.
All right. Cut the show. Cut the show. There's no need to mention Trent Grisham on this fine show.
I've just never seen 1 before.
No, legit. I saw it the other day. I was like, 1? How is that even possible, bro? 1? So like I've never seen one. I've seen negative. I've just never seen one.
Right, I've seen negatives
I've seen
for
negative.
sure,
I've
but
never seen
one stands out.
One is just like it was like old boy who hit the ball 1 inch the other day. Well, I forget who
That
it
was
was.
wild.
That was why he hit the ball 1 inch, bro. Like that feels impossible, but he pulled it off. So
yeah, the corners, and I know you want to upgrade, but what are you going to like? Do you need to upgrade knowing like your third best hitter is coming back soon?
who?
Dominguez.
Whoops. I don't think Dominguez is coming back soon.
Really? He's playing,
No.
right?
Yes. I don't think he's. Here's the thing. I think right now he's blocked. Like I think the Yankees like Verdugo way more than the players suggest they should. But like, they like his vibe for whatever that's worth. Roll your eyes. Shit, I am rolling my eyes eternally right now too. They like his vibe. He's been really good in the field, to his credit. Like he's been really good in the field. He's been about an average hitter. And Stanton has been quite good with the bat. So, like, they're not going to bring him up and have him not play every day. So, like, I think he's trapped at the moment. Like, I think he's blocked.
Fucking teach him first base. Like, it's not.
Hey, listen. If I woke up tomorrow and there was some stuff talking about, like, oh, they give a Jason Dominguez a first baseman, I would be the least upset person on earth. Because, sure, why not, right? So, I don't think it's realistic, and they don't have to bring him up at the moment. And also, not for nothing, MLB teams damn sure don't need an excuse to manipulate service time. And the Yankees have one ready-made. Like, hey, man, we're, 42-19, whatever the record is at this point? We're 42-19, Stanton's hitting well. The clubhouse loves Verdugo, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to bring up Dominguez right now. He could get us everyday reps in AAA, but we could call that a day.
Sure. I mean, that feels like the difference between losing in the ALCS and a World Series, potentially.
Listen, life has a way of solving these kind of things.
They don't, though.
And I mean, Stanton is not exactly the picture of good health. Right? So, like, if one of them gets hurt, we're likely having a different conversation the next time we speak. You know what I mean? So it's one of those, I don't love it, but like it's hard for me to sit there and complain about it as well. It's one of those. Like,
sure, I'm not saying complain about it, but big picture, it's like,
yeah, I'd much rather Jason Dominguez be up here getting everyday at bats, but the Yankees like Alex Verdugo far more than I do.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
They like him far more than I do, but also like he's been so good in the field that I kind of get it.
He's playing left.
Is what it is. Sure.
Who gives a shit?
It's easy for you to say that, and I get why you say that. But also, and this is not perfectly rational logic, but bro, I was playing left field for them last year.
Right, but we're not talking about Verdugo or nobody. We're talking about Verdugo versus.
I get it. I get it. And shit, maybe there's a world where Verdugo regresses in the field or whatever it is, and they're just like, okay.
Oh, he's a fine fielder. As long as he's not playing center,
but he's been
fine fielder.
He's been more than fine this year. Like he's usually an average-ish fielder. Like he's been more than that this year. If he regresses to just normal fine, and he sells in at around a 101 OPS plus, and Dominguez is ripping up AAA, that their hand might be forced. But he's not going to be here anytime soon. At a minimum with Dominguez. Fair or not, that's just how this is going to go. In my opinion, he's not going to be here anytime soon.
Yeah, and I get not like wanting to rock the boat necessarily right this second, but Alex Verdugo is also a contract year guy. Talking about trades, like I would be like, who wants him for whatever the fuck? Like, have him.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad you mentioned the whole upsetting the apple cart business because there are people who are actually posing that the Yankees might not do anything about Rizzo because Aaron Judge likes him and the clubhouse likes him. I'm just like, first of all, this is the same team with the same GM who traded for Josh Johnson on purpose. Okay. They traded for they signed Marcus Stroman. Now he's been fine.
It's been great.
But he's been great. Like from a locker room perspective, everybody seems to fuck with, right? So like the previous stuff is the previous stuff, but we knew what it was. It was on record. They voluntarily signed this guy. They voluntarily traded for a guy who quit on their division rival. I don't think that locker room politics is going to stop them from upgrading first base if an option becomes available for them to do so. I just don't think that's going to stop them. Verdugo is a separate issue because he's at least playing well.
Sure.
Rizzo's been dog shit. So I don't know what do we like, oh well, you might upset Aaron Judge. Brother, Aaron Judge wants to win. It's baseball, it's a business, bro. Like if you're not hacking it, you get replaced. That's how this goes.
Yeah, I mean, we also just talked about how the Yankees wouldn't part with Eduardo Nunez, so not like the brightest organization.
I like how you took the time to poke me one more time. But speaking of not bright organizations, and maybe we'll close after this, but the Juan Soto Mets angle this year is so fucking weird, bro. It's really weird. Like
it's the same thing as Yankees fans all last year.
Is it though?
I think so. To me, it looks the exact same. A guy on another team being like, "Oh, he's going to be here next year."
But the thing is, like, first of all, the Yankee fans, I can only speak for the ones that I see. Maybe you saw different ones. We weren't doing this every day. Like, I feel like I see with Mets fans now. With Met fans, to be fair to them, they don't got much to watch.
No, they don't.
So I empathize with them on that front, and maybe that's why they keep bringing up Soto. But it's like Don LaGreca got on WFAN the other day and was like, you know what? The better he does this year, the more I'm convinced he's going to the Mets. What kind of fucking dumbass logic is that, bro? What? Like, oh, well, Steve Cohen might bid this and that and the third. And, like, this kind of stuff frustrates me because a lot of people operate from a place of wishful thinking with regard to the Yankees and losing their star players. And but they also talk like they know. And it's like, right. You don't, though. You don't follow the team like that. The Yankees don't lose players that good, typically. Can Soto sign with the Mets? Sure, man. I don't know how much that man like money. And maybe the Mets are just like, all right, fuck it. We don't care. Our team stinks anyway. Might as well pay him $800 million. Maybe they do some wild shit like that. I don't fucking know. But if we got to speak about this every day or every other day or whatever it's been, it just sounds like y'all are trying to speak shit into existence. And more importantly, how many times do people have to be like, no, I'm good to Steve Cohen for it to register? That, yo, the Mets are a second-rate team. All due respect. That's what it is. Can that change? Sure. As of now, they're a fucking second-rate team. We don't have to keep doing it. He hits 2 home runs in a game, including the game winner tonight. And the first thing we're thinking is, wow, Steve Cohen's watching. Where does this make any sense? Like, are we this bored?
I think 2 things. One, Cohen has shown he will pay for players he believes in. He was ready to pay for Correa until his doctors got to look at it, and then he was like, all right, let's everyone calm the fuck down. Right. He has tried to push the chips all in when he signed Verlander and Scherzer and had last year DeGrom and all that. Like, it's not like he hasn't tried. Last year, I think smartly he pulled the plug. You know what I mean? None of those guys.
He didn't, though. They offered Yamamoto the most money. He said no.
No. I'm saying during the season. During the season, he pulled the plug. I think that was the right. Like, he wasn't just like, let me just keep fucking holding on to these guys.
And they're going to do that. I assume they're going to do that again this year too. Yep.
Sure. Yeah. They've shown no inclination to pay Pete Alonso, who's been like begging for a contract. And
but that's not true. They offered him 7 years for $160 million.
Right, I think that's the thing. I think he's a line in the sand guy. He's not like, not just gonna spend money.
Oh yeah. And I mean, quite frankly, I think Pete is either dumb or got bad advice with regard to that, because I don't know. And mind you, Boris is his agent now. He fired the previous agent after he turned down that deal. So it wasn't even Boris's doing, which I
Right.
found to be amazing.
Yeah, Apex Baseball was his previous representation.
Yeah, and he was like, no. And then he turned down 7 for 160 or 158 or whatever it was. So it's like, I don't know where you think you're going to get more than that, big fella. It ain't Major League Baseball.
He watched, this is where when you share a city with another team, he watched Aaron Judge do the same thing. And in his mind, he's like, well, I'm as good of a power hitter as Aaron Judge. And he's not.
So you're calling him stupid. Okay. That's fair.
I mean, no, I think a lot of players have that kind of belief in themselves. Now, it's often wrong. Not everyone's Tobias Harris. They don't get to hit the market for exact right time and cash out. Like, that's not how this typically goes. Even Judge, like Judge, it was a risk just because of his injury concern. Obviously, it worked in his favor, and he had one of the all-time great contract seasons. But very next year, he's fucking hurt. You know what I mean? Like, if those years were reversed, the Yankees still pay him, but they probably save $100 million in the process.
True, but yeah, I mean, Judge had an all-time great contract year. No two ways.
One of the all-time greats.
Great contract year. But if Pete looked around and was like, you know what? If Aaron Judge could get that, I could get more than this. Then God bless him. I don't think it's going to work out for him because he is a one-trick pony. And don't get me wrong, I am the last person to shit on a power hitter. If anything, I love a power hitter. So I like Pete. I'm not here to argue. He's not giving you shit on defense. He's not giving you shit on the bases, and he's 31 years old, or about to be 31 years old.
He's only 29 now.
Okay, he's about to be 30 years old. Excuse me. He's about to be 30 years old, headed into free agency. And we watched Matt Olson. I forget exactly how much he got, but it was in that neighborhood. Yeah. I know Freddie got 6 for 162. Those guys are way better than Pete Alonso. So I have no idea what we're really doing here.
They are, but if I go back to the Devers stat that I bring up every episode because he just keeps leading it, Alonso's sitting here at 339, which is ahead of a lot of guys you would think would be ahead of him, namely Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. Now, obviously, Juan Soto is much better at baseball. Aaron Judge, much better overall player. I'm not here to say he's better than them.
Right.
But if you're sitting here and you're Pete Alonso, it's like I'm younger than Judge was when he hit free agency, and I've since 2019 had much more production in terms of power numbers overall. Judge has higher OPS and all that shit, no doubt. Yeah, but just in terms of
he played more games.
Yeah, doubles and dingers, like that matters. You know what I mean? That absolutely matters.
It does.
So yeah, if I'm
good.
Alonso and I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, because I'm actually 5th. So I'm tied with the other two guys. Mookie Betts and Jose Ramirez are the only other two guys. They both have 339. You know, and by season's end, he won't catch Devers. Devers is too far ahead, but he could find himself third on this list, no problem. So I don't. Not that this is how they fucking contract negotiate, but if I'm his agent, it's just like, yeah, I am one of the premier power hitters in the league. I'm only 30. I'm not, 33, 34, something like that. Like, I have 5 more years, especially if I'm going to go somewhere in DH. Yeah, I have plenty of production left in me. So I get it. Will people pay for a DH? Is Major League Baseball going to change the rules for the DH? They fucking might. It sounds like there's a lot of push behind that. Which would
wait, a lot of push behind what?
Them tying the DH to starting pitching. So once your starter gets removed, your DH gets removed.
Fucking brother.
Yeah, that's gonna suck. Like that's what I'm talking about. Baseball makes baseball more difficult for baseball. That's what they love to do.
Why are we?
They're trying to ban the opener, which Bill James I saw tweet out.
Bill James is an insane person, but go ahead.
He can be, but this one where he was like, you can't pull your starter until the 5th if he hasn't given up any runs. If he's given up runs, like you can't just let a guy die out there. But it's like, yeah, it doesn't bother me. Openers don't bother me at fucking all. Apparently, people don't like openers. I don't know that anyone's like refusing to watch games based on that, but baseball seems to think so. I think that makes way more sense. Taking away the DH, like if I'm a manager, I'm just no longer DHing for my pitcher then. I'm not losing the DH. I'm never losing the DH. I'm DHing for my fucking catcher or something like that. Like I'm not DHing for my pitcher.
I get that. I get that we want to make the starting pitcher in vogue again, I guess. I get it. It just feels like the entire toothpaste came out of the tube and they're trying to put it all back in. Like
Right.
it came out of the tube, bro. Like it's gone. I'm not saying there aren't things you could do, whatever, but like as much as teams strive for efficiency, and efficiency is the main and damn near the only thing that matters, none of it's going to change nothing, bro. Because they're not. Because guess what? Velo gets guys paid.
Mm-hmm.
Velo's harder to hit. That's what it is. So guys are going to go out there and put forth max effort to try to get the ball by people, because that's what gets paid. That's what helps you win. So we're doing this. We're going to tie it to the DH. We're doing this down the third, bro. The previous era is over, bro. Greg Mack's not walking through that door. Pedro Martinez not walking through that door. Those guys are not walking through that door. It's fine. We don't have to change rules because people like Bill James want to see starting pitchers throw 135 pitches again. We're never getting it anyway.
Bill James is the sane one here. He's the one, like, let's not tie it to DH because that's
okay. My bad. Okay, my bad. He's the sane one. My fault. But like
everyone else,
his ilk, people like him. That ain't exactly him. But yeah, like, oh well. Back in my day, Nolan Ryan threw 800 pitches and didn't take any days off. Like, I don't give a fuck what they got to do with today. Nothing.
But to your overall point about Cohen, I do think this is a kind of offseason coming up. Obviously, he tried to do it with Yamamoto. I think he's going to try to do it again with Soto. I think he's going to make him say no to the highest offer. And unlike Yamamoto, I don't think Soto isn't like, oh, I need to play on the West Coast with Ohtani. If maybe he does, maybe he's going to go to the Dodgers. Like I don't think that should be ruled out either.
Oh no, the Dodgers are the boogeyman. Like you can't
right.
rule them out.
But I don't think that the Mets should just be written out. Like I understand as a Yankee fan writing off the Mets, I would do it all the fucking time. But I do think Cohen's smart. Like he didn't get this money. He didn't back into this money. He didn't fall into this money.
Right.
I do think he's like, if you're worth it, I'll pay any price. And I think Soto is universally agreed upon, like no price is really too high. And it's kind of like a make or break offseason for him. I think most of the Mets fan base saw that last year's team didn't work at fucking all. They were okay with how that was handled in terms of selling and buying prospects and stuff like that. This season, I don't think they're like pumped about by any stretch, but I think they also watched the offseason. They're like, oh, we're going to stink again. And if he goes out and gets Soto, I think Mets fans will be right back in.
Yes. Listen, this is how this is going to go. Soto will shop himself around. The Mets, there'll be some mystery. There'll be some jackass mystery team thrown in there somewhere. They will get whatever the final number is from the outside market. The Yankees will match it, and we'll go on. We'll all go on about our days and our fandoms. That's how this is going to go. At least in my opinion. Let me not act like I'm an authority on this. That's how this is going to go. And fine. The Mets are a legitimate threat. I'm not here to argue that they're not, because money is money. What I'm here to argue is most of the common sense talking points, if you read between the tea leaves on literally anything regarding this, suggest that the Mets are the distant number 2 or number 3, depending on if the Dodgers.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying. And we shouldn't be. And some of the logic used to shoehorn the Mets into the conversation is fucking stupid. That's all my point is.
No, I definitely. And if I was watching this guy have this kind of season on my team and the other team in my city was like, can't wait to sign him, I'd be annoyed.
Dog shit. Like if the Mets were still good, okay, great. They're fucking dog shit. Like the Mets are awful. They are an embarrassment. And I'm not saying this because I hate the Mets. I don't give a fuck about the Mets. Like that, they are in the same city. I have no reason to care. They're in the other league, but they are dog shit. That's just what it is. They are the shining moment of the Mets season is somebody having an awful day at work, launching their glove into the stands and getting cut the same day. That is the highlight of the Mets season. That says it all. They're a joke. And the Yankees are 44-19, or whatever the fuck the record is. It was like, you know what? Steve is going to be in the offseason making it rain. Can that happen first before we start talking about it? That's all I'm saying.
Sure. I will say the Mets, Lindor got off to an awful start. He's been a lot better the last month.
The fact that Mets fans don't universally love that guy is so weird. But
Yeah, Lindor's had a weird career just in terms of how people have viewed him the whole time. Even in Cleveland, people were like,
all that man
Guardians
does out a lot and go play baseball, and people just
right.
don't respond well to that for some reason.
Guardians fans loved him, and as well they should, but it's not like outside of Cleveland he was. I feel like he's always been a little underrated, and then more underrated since he got to the Mets. Nemo's been Nemo. He's just kind of is like he's as consistent a player as there is.
He's really good, but I don't like that. But he's really good at baseball. Can't lie.
And since they called up Vientos, who hates the Mets more than anybody, he's got a 10-13 OPS. You know what I mean? Like he's been tearing the fucking cover off the ball. So I can see a world where they're like, yeah, why would we pay Pete Alonso? We're going to back up the truck for Soto. If he tells us no, he tells us no. There's nothing we can do about that.
God bless them. I hope Mets fans find some happiness some way somehow with this season. But you're not getting Juan Soto, so put that out your minds.
Yeah, that's next year's problem or the offseason's problem. Right now, I got the Whites. I'm glad we're playing the White Sox, and I don't even give a fuck about the next 2.5 weeks worth of games. I know by the end of it, the Red Sox will be 500, and I'll either be hoisting a title or I won't be, and that's all that I care about.
Go Mavericks.